Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Footy Corner TV. This is our transfer countdown show. We're also in association with the Sports Bar Cafe now, which is Liam's channel. If you know him, then you'll be going to him afterwards anyway. We have a great panel that are here to take us through the show, and we're going to talk about everything transfers. So here we go. Ian, welcome in. How are we?
I'm all good, thank you very much, and thanks very much for having me. Ready for the mini meltdown that we're all having on online. But yeah, looking forward to it.
I mean, some are mini, and some are maxi. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mark, welcome in. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks yourselves.
Not bad. We've all had to be a bit of a meltdown and seen drastic happenings on Twitter. So yeah, plenty to discuss on that front. Yeah, and we got George. How are we?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. All good. Just want to say shout out to my friends and colleagues at D's of Croydon. They're a great bunch of people that I work with there. That was at their request after viewing last week's show that I was on. So I just thought I'd give a mention to that. But yeah, all good. I'm hoping we'll make get some decent signings in for the end of deadline day today. But we'll just have to hold our breath and see what happens on that.
Yeah, well, anybody that gets a shout out and doesn't subscribe to the channel is barred from watching the channel. So yes,
I'll get them all to subscribe.
we will be expecting all subscriptions and all paid in full. Thank you very much. And we got another George. How are we, George?
I'm good, mate. I didn't know what one you was going to, so that's why I didn't say nothing.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I'm good. I've had an interesting day. Yeah, it's been alright.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in the aid of segregation, should we just call you sausage?
Yeah, if you want.
Oh, fair. Right. So, okay. I mean, let's go through a bit of. Do you want to go with Arsenal, or do you just want to go with anything random and?
Arsenal will be a very short conversation. So
you want to go with that then, and we'll have our meltdowns and whatever views we've got on that. So, Ian, do we think that that there are anything else coming through the door?
It's I think that there's a lot of talk and speculation. There seems to be, for me, from what I'm hearing, a lot of people seem to be going rather than us actually signing. That's what I'm hearing more talk. There's rumours of Sterling coming over, but I don't know. I'm a bit 50-50 about that.
Yeah, and your thoughts on Neto?
Neto, I mean, yeah, it might be worth him coming over, for that loan move. It's only a loan move, so we can try and test him out. I think get him in, see how he performs, and see how he's done by the end of the season. It might be worth it, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. And your thoughts, Ian?
I was just about to say I can't see anything happening, but I'm scrolling through Twitter here just to see if there's any bombs dropping, and an account has put up that Reece Nelson is attracting interest from a few clubs and that he could be a last minute departure. And so the part of me is hoping that maybe that means that, yes, because surely we wouldn't get rid of ESR, we wouldn't get rid of Nketiah, we wouldn't get rid of Fabio Vieira, and we wouldn't get rid of Reece Nelson without bringing some attacker in. But it's probably all nonsense at this stage. But I'd be at this point, like, if 2-3 days ago I said that I would put my mortgage on somebody big coming in, or a good attacking signing coming in, and now I think I've lost my mortgage. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, similar to Ian there. It looks like nothing really is going to happen. I think we're kind of hoping maybe that Chelsea might release Sterling and then might try something there. But other than that, I don't really see anything happening. I think we probably all assumed that a striker or a forward player was going to come in, an attacker, but they've obviously looked at what's out there and said, you know what, I don't really fancy any of these. Well, not at the prices anyway. And decide to just keep their powder dry.
Yeah, is that the right way to assess it, George? Is it just a case of that we're saving up funds and the space in the squad, or is it just that we've missed the boat?
I think, it's a bit, when you look at it and we're not inside like the dealings of what Edu and Arteta are doing as such, it kind of feels like we are missing out a bit, but then it feels like, oh yeah, we are kind of saving up the funds and making use of what we can get hold of and focusing on that. But the thing is, it's a bit frustrating for us Arsenal fans because we've often, I think, from last season, we've said we needed a decent striker, and this season again. And again, it just seems like we've not really picked up on that. We still haven't signed an all-out number 9 goal-scoring striker, and it seems like we're missing out on the opportunity. Because but then again, I hope that with the signs we have made, we have some positive impact. But only time will tell, really.
Yeah, and the other George, what you're saying?
I think it's disappointing. Like I honestly thought we'd bring in a forward player. Do I think we will now? No. I think it's like echoing what Mark said. Like it's getting the right players in. Like we haven't got. I don't think there's many. Like I know we keep getting linked with all these players, but realistically, if you look at it, we've gone from links to Nico Williams to Raheem Sterling. Like that's a massive difference for me. Or say from we was never getting Ozyman, and then it's gone to Darwin Núñez. It's just like everyone's like clutching at straws. For me, do I think we need forward players? Well, obviously we do. But the way some people are acting is like there's only one transfer window in the season. I don't understand why we're getting rid of all these players and we've not really brought anyone in. Obviously, the player we did bring in, Gabriel C, paid to that, didn't it? So, Neto, I think it was like a no-brainer. Really, I know people are a bit upset because he's 35 and it's a loan deal, but he's not. He's only going to play in the FA Cup, realistically. So, and like, I don't think he was that bad for Bournemouth. Like, so as a backup keeper, I think he's all right. I don't think what else has happened really. And at the minute, Nketiah still hasn't gone. I don't think so. I just wonder if that actually is going to happen now, or will Arsenal pull the plug on that? But I'll end it, Sparks, on a positive. The market in Saudi doesn't close till Monday, so we can still sign Benzema. It's still...
Yeah, I heard Draxler was coming in.
Yeah.
Big way.
That's a chance to try for him.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things I've seen on Twitter today, X or whatever you want to call it, is absolutely mind bending. It's insane. And these are the same people that accuse us of panic buying and basically going, all out for no apparent reason. And it's just crazy. Some of the nonsense I've heard. Yeah. And to a point of, we look like we're clearing the decks for a big signing. But was it too late in the window that we did that to bring somebody in? So that's potentially a reason. I don't know if that is the reason or if it's just that's the right profile of player, like you've all said, isn't available and certainly not available at that cost. I mean, Chelsea seem to kind of dip their hand into everything and everything inflates by 10 million as soon as Chelsea go in for anybody. It certainly seems to me.
Like with the strikers, like for example, if you look at the value and actually who's available, who is worth what their value is. No, I'm sorry, but for Ozyman, I'm not paying that because I don't think he has the right attitude. The only one I would have done is probably Gyökeres, but maybe Arteta wants to see if what he's like this season. funny enough, we will be playing against him. So, so I don't know. Or is it Isak? I don't know. Is he waiting for Isak? Like, there's got to be a reason. Like, I just think some of our fans have short memories. Like, we've gone from what Arteta and Edu have done to coming up just short. I get that, and I get the frustration. But the players that they've brought in, there's not many of them that haven't done that well. So maybe they are waiting. Like, maybe they use this summer to clear everything, and then next summer they're just going to go bang, bang, bang. I don't know. Like, I don't think any of us thought they was going to do that with Declan Rice, did they? So, or there's nothing to say that they don't go to Atletico Bilbao in January and pay the release clause.
Well, the other thing as well is when you look at the players that we've removed and sold and done whatever, the amount of minutes that they actually got last season is fairly nominal, and you know, obviously if we have the same injury record, granted that was quite lucky last season, then we're not going to miss them anyway, are we? So it makes sense to make the money that we can make and store it up for next season.
Gives us more chance to play some of the kids as well, because all I kept hearing last season is that Arteta doesn't give youth a chance. Well, he has to now, realistically. Like people like Ethan and Lewis Scully and Segura Jr., them players, all right, they're going to have to step up, because realistically, that's all we've got.
Do we actually see Ethan getting minutes?
I think so.
We do.
Mate, yeah.
Carabao Cup in particular. We've got Bolton in the first round, third round of that. So you'd like to think we progress, and that gives him a shop window. Then where I think it'd be stupid not to give him minutes and a start in that game.
He has to be started.
We could get another handy draw in the next round, and then all of a sudden you're near enough to Wembley. So yeah, I think it'd be crazy not to start him, particularly in Carabao Cup, and give him the odd few minutes here or there in the league. Look, Vieira hasn't been sent out on loan because Ethan Nwaneri isn't showing promising signs in training. If he wasn't, then it would have been Nwaneri who was getting sent out on loan rather than Vieira.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Do we all kind of agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ian Wright said himself, like on Sky Sports quite a while ago, actually, he said that we put players out on loan because we do see potential in them, but we just need to polish them up a bit so they can improve and perform really well the following season. So, you know, I think ultimately it's a good thing.
Yeah. Let's do a few of these messages before we carry on. Arsenal Misfit, hey everyone, going to miss the first part of the show, working. We appreciate your comments being in the chat anyway. Marino out for several weeks after a training accident. Only at Arsenal can this happen. I mean, we've all seen this, haven't we? But, I mean, he wasn't going to play the Brighton game anyway, was he? We've got an international break. But I understand that it's a fracture. So he's kind of going to be out for, I guess, a couple of months. So we didn't really see that.
I only really see him being like 2 weeks delayed from what he would have originally played. Because personally, I didn't see him starting against Tottenham or Man City. So
tough game to put him into.
You think that's about, what's that, after that time? It's probably about 4 or 5 weeks. So depends on the fracture, but he might be back like 2-3 weeks.
Isn't there another international break around there as well?
There is in October, kind of middle of October. We played 3 or 4 league games before
they
next
international break. So. It would be fun. Would be funny if he turned up after the international break without his arm in a sleeve, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. Right, let's go through these, and then we've obviously got a lot to discuss anyway. 90 says LFG. Hi, Mamu. Good evening, guys. Having an amazing show. Thank you very much, Tarek.
Yes.
Tarak. Probably butchered that name. Catherine. Hello everyone. Hello, Catherine. Rumour has it we are done with signing people this window. Why were they so focused on keepers and not attackers?
It's commonly what I've thought, to be fair, just on that point. We seem to be changing around the goalkeepers and focusing on goalkeepers so much that we just seem blindsided on signing an attacker. I mean, don't we all think that? I think that certainly, but I only hope that the signs we have made are going to show that they're worth it and they perform.
Yeah, I think with that though, like if you're selling a goalkeeper, you've got to replace them. You're not going to sell Aaron Ramsdale and then go and bring in a forward, are you?
That's true. Yeah.
I think automatically.
And Hine went out on loan as well, so
that Hine,
we would have had no backup if we didn't bring that in.
Yeah, and the one that Ian was talking about, I always say his last name wrong. Is it Tommy Setford or?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's only 18, so he ain't going to be the number 2.
No.
So you have to replace it. I'm not saying they shouldn't have gone for a forward, because they should have, but I'm not really like with the goalkeeper stuff. It's really weird for me, Sparks. I don't really class David Raya as a new signing. So
yeah.
Well, he's not a new signing, but is he? But obviously with Ramsdale leaving, he needs to be replaced, and he wasn't happy being number 2. We all kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, well, if you don't get a suitor for him, he just stays, and that's it. But obviously it's a solution that was put forward by Bournemouth. You can have him on loan for the season until you get whoever you're going to get. So they're obviously too much of a bargaining chip, weren't they, for Garcia?
Yeah.
And look, it was very important. It's very important to get the keepers right as well. I know it's not a lucrative position, shall we say, in terms of excitement, but it's so important to get that right. I'm actually a little bit worried because if we just have Neto and Raya, like if Raya gets injured, we're snookered. Like we are badly snookered, and that I very nearly put a message into the or maybe I did put a message into the group earlier on saying, look, we might go get 2 goalkeepers today, because I class Neto as a number 3. And therefore we're short a number 2. Obviously Neto will step in as a number 2, but like if Raya is out for any length of time and we just have him and Neto and Tommy Setford, we're in trouble.
And that's what I think it is. It's that you're looking behind the sofa sort of thing with the squad at the minute, because we're like, if Raya gets an injury, we're screwed. Like Saka, well, even Havertz. I never thought we'd say that if Kyle we're struggling, but we are.
Yeah, well, he's showing he's got the class, really, Havertz. So I think he's
I just mean because Jesus isn't reliable. So if Havertz, the only other one is Trossard.
Jesus is only out for 12 days though. He's not out for a long period of time. But like obviously he is a bit injury prone. We all kind of know that, but he has been fitter than ever. So it may well be he's over that, and it's just a short term thing. So, but this was another thing I saw today. I don't know if this is actually true because I haven't checked this out. But AFC always says that we signed a goalkeeper who'll be cup tied.
Yeah,
I believe so. He played against West Ham, so.
Yeah, so that's obviously an issue, especially if Raya does get injured, but also his rotation, if there was to be any, would be in the cup competitions anyway, wouldn't it? So
I don't know what you think, like Mark as well. Would you consider playing Setford in the Bolton game?
In the Bolton game, I think we can get away with it against Bolton. Yeah. I'd like to think so, anyways, and then obviously play it by ear after that.
Yeah, I think
because I think the Carabao Cup is one of those competitions where you don't really take notice of it until you actually get to a quarter final or that, and you go, hang on here, there's a chance of a day out at Wembley, let's go for it now. If you get knocked out early, you kind of write it off to experience. But if you start progressing in it, then you go, hang on, this is a chance of a trophy, let's go for it. But it is, I think it's one of those, if you get through the first 2 rounds, then you go, yeah, let's go for this. If you don't, then you can just write it off as one of those things.
And I'd rather Setford have play and he maybe have a bit of a nightmare. Also, I wouldn't wish that upon him, but I'd rather him play and have a little bit of a nightmare than Raya play and get injured.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Retro Rewind TV says Marino now injured, no attack, low, and we're supposed to be winning the league. Typical Cronkers, satisfied with top 4. I don't really agree with the satisfied with top 4 thing.
Look at the record with all the sports teams they own.
Say again, sorry.
The record with all the sports teams they own is that they win. Sooner or later they win. Be it the Denver Nuggets, the LA Rams, that they have a baseball team as well. They do win. This idea of them being satisfied with just 4, I think is nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I think before, they were restricted by the board. Yeah. I think they were the problem more than the owners, and the owners didn't really want to spend because it was helping the board members who were blocking everything that was in the process. And I think that board was the actual problem, rather than the Cronkers. Now, granted, they don't put as much of their own money in as they could do, but I don't really see that they're satisfied with top 4. I don't think anybody in their right mind spends 105 million on a midfielder if they're satisfied with the mediocrity and just qualifying for Champions League.
What is for me as well is that, so last season we scored, I don't know, didn't we break the record for goals scored or something like that? But if the left winger, say Martinelli, say you're seeing prime Martinelli, the players that I'd say majority of the players we were looking for were players that can come on to rotate with other players. So the way you hear some fans say about I don't understand how we've gone from being 1 defeat away from winning the title last season to this season, people saying we're not even going to get Europa League football, but because we've sold Fabio Vieira and Emil Smith-Rowe, it don't make sense to me.
It really doesn't make any sense, does it?
No.
Right, so where does that big drop off come from? It's just, what I mean is, say Kai Havertz goes and bangs in 15, 20 goals this season. It's possible. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying he won't. Say Martinelli, you see prime Martinelli or prime Trossard. Where the players that we were trying to bring in, there's strength and depth, but there's only 2 players we've been linked with that take us to that next level, and that was Williams and probably a centre forward. But I just don't understand it, Sparxs, for me, like where the big drop-offs come.
What I would add to that as well is these same people want loyalty to those players, and it just doesn't make sense, really. It's a little bit crazy, and the head loss is too easy, and God, yeah.
I think for me that last comment that was said, we finished the season before last, we came close to winning the title. Last year we came even closer. And I feel, especially Josh Kroenke, he cares deeply about Arsenal, and you can see it. And I feel we're heading in the right direction. I wouldn't think that that we're going to struggle and not even make it into Europa. I think it's absolute nonsense.
And at the end of the day as well, like there's no point in the club just going out and buying anybody just because we're in need of a forward player. The club wants to do it right. Like as you guys were saying, we paid 105 million for Declan Rice, because he was the right person and he took us to the next level. And the Cronkies will spend the money, but it has to be the correct player, and Arteta will feel the same. And again, as you guys have been saying, there's not many players in the world. We've improved so much over the last 3 or 4 years that there aren't many players out there that improve us, that take us to that next level. There are some, but they're not for sale and they're not available at this moment in time. So, as George said, maybe in January, now it's even harder to buy top players in January. You don't get them, but I would rather them keep their powder dry and get like the person who's going to take us to the Champions League title, to the Premier League title, rather than just pick somebody up because the fan base is crying for it.
Exactly.
We are short in numbers, there's no doubt about it, but it's quality, not quantity. The guys who left as well, we love them all. ESR, Nketiah, probably on the way out.
He hasn't quite left yet.
Yeah, not yet. But a lot of those players, between them, they played very well. Nketiah aside, even Nketiah last season, between them, they played very few minutes. So, it's not as though we're taking numbers out of the team. We're taking lots of bodies out of the squad, should I say? But we're not taking actual minutes out of the squad.
Not at all. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah, we're not taking production out of the squad. Realistically,
no.
Eddie scored 5 goals, I think, last season. So
and that's what it is for me. Like, if you're saying
started once.
if you're saying we sold someone like a Martinelli or a Trossard, well, maybe not Martinelli, but say like Trossard or someone who's been doing stuff in the team, I'd be like, all right, fair enough, we've not replaced them. But what Vieira, how many games did he play? Not that many.
We didn't see him that much last season, did we?
Yeah, Smith Rowe obviously deserves to be playing regular football. He didn't play. Ramsdale didn't play. So the players they've sold, or hopefully, and with Nketiah going as well, they don't really feature in that team. They're just names. Like, at the end of the day, they're not featuring for us week in, week out. And what's to say that, I don't know, a couple of the young kids that are on the edge of the squad don't do as much what they've done?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's yeah. Right, let's go through these. It's turned into an all Arsenal show rather than than a transfer countdown show. So let's whiz through these messages. I just want to get them out of there, and then we can go on. Is this the League on the channel? Keep the faith like Bon Jovi.
No, I haven't got my dressing gown.
League Gunner doesn't do that, and if you watch this channel, you would know that. But there you go. I don't say in a few days at the end of the day, end of the window, you won't be disappointed. Seems like Neto, the signing will not disappoint. Yeah, I think we kind of all feel that. Jesus is out tomorrow. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I bet Hulk Green is a huge Bon Jovi fan. Well, I mean, they're out there. Jesus is out. Have been out. Xmas and Easter. Okay. Yeah. He was busy. Okay. Okay. Stefan Geese, I don't mind a couple of the tunes. I can't lie, and he does a lot for charity. Shocking.
I thought they meant Jesus. So what songs does he sing?
So yeah, the Liam's in the chat with the All Sports Bar Cafe. You'll be going to him afterwards, no doubt. What a good looking panel. I mean, you're not on it, so that puts us all to shame, really. Tommy used to work at the docks. He did indeed.
Yeah.
No. Albert Docks. Okay, yeah, we'll do that one. Okay, we're just going in the conversation now. Okay. What's this? I find it mad how so many clubs leave their business late with inflated prices. Well, I think the theory with that is that the prices would be cheaper because they've got a bit more kind of leverage. They want them out of the door, and they need to find a new home for them. So I kind of
So the Forest owner was on early on, basically saying exactly what you've just said, Sparks. They actually think they get better value later on in the window than earlier on.
Well, it's a bargaining chip, isn't it?
Clubs are more desperate.
Yeah, so they need somebody out, and especially with the PSR rules now, where if they want to spend in January, maybe they need to move somebody out, and then they have to take whatever's offered to them, sort of thing.
Yeah, with the PSR, they baffle me because they don't they don't operate in West London. Like, I was reading it, like 42 players, or it could be 43 if they sign Jadon Sancho today. I don't know if that's actually happening, but
hasn't happened yet.
Okay, but like, just say that does. Like, that's how does that work? Like, I just don't understand how Chelsea are allowed to do what they want to do. You've got Raheem Sterling sitting there on whatever he's earning. I think I was reading, if they tore that contract, that's 70 million. So it's just ridiculous. And their manager said, the other 22 players, I don't know what they're going to do, because he said they're not playing at all. So I don't know. I don't know how Chelsea are getting away with it, unless they're trying to buy all these players because they know a transfer ban's coming in the next 3 years.
I got told by a Chelsea fan earlier on today that that Edu has failed and he should learn from Chelsea.
We asked Chelsea in about 4 or 5 years when their club's been liquidated because of how they've been
when it's done.
managed.
Yeah, I did retort to him and said nobody is learning how to run a club from Chelsea. Sorry about that.
Most of them are.
Speaking of which, just to very quickly say that Ryan has put a message in the group from Ben. It's a tweet from Ben Jacobs saying Arsenal and Chelsea have held late talks over a loan move for Raheem Sterling. Still no discussions directly with Sterling, and unclear if anything will materialise. Sterling is open to Arsenal if it does.
This is the only thing that annoys me with. You're going to hear George go on a rant now about journalists. Is it really does my head in why they just share the same bloody news all day, but just recycle it? Like, I could have told you this at 11 o'clock this morning. Yeah, just like
one thing I will add to that is that it's Ben Jacobs, and he's very Chelsea orientated as well.
Yeah.
So and also Sky Sports have been running this kind of quite a lot. So I can only imagine that it's being fed from Chelsea that they're trying.
Unless they're watching the show, Sparks, like they've deserved me ripping straight.
I mean, if they're watching the show, then
they subscribe.
Subscribe and share the channel on all platforms. Thank you very much indeed.
We can do a collaboration with Todd Bowley.
Just coming up on Sky Sports News, there Leicester interested in Odsonne Edouard. So if he goes, I'd imagine the Eddie Nketiah deal is more or less over the line.
Yeah, they're clearly waiting for an out, aren't they, before they allow the in. There was a thing with Ugarte as well, wasn't there, for Man United? Why he
hasn't been done officially, anyways.
Say again.
The Ugarte deal hasn't been done officially yet, as far as I know.
No, but I think that they're waiting for McTominay to be announced. Napoli, is it?
Yeah.
I think that's
bizarre. Yeah. That's a bizarre move, by the way.
Are they just trying to turn Scottish? Because ain't they just bought Billy Gilmore and all?
They're trying to get him done as well, but again, nothing finalised yet with Brighton for Billy Gilmore. So Napoli are trying to
again.
Get that
does that rely on Osimhen leaving?
Possibly.
So they need the money from the Osimhen deal to pay for the. Italian clubs aren't renowned for holding that much cash, are they?
No.
So if they've got a 25 mil, how much is Gilmore? 15 million?
Give or take, I'd imagine. Yeah, Brighton are very tough negotiators, so
probably about 80 million for Gilmore. But that's basically the Scottish midfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing for Napoli. That's mad.
Yeah, they're renaming the club from Napoli to Billy Connolly.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Get your coat. Get your coat.
I'm here all week.
You might even sing a song here.
Later on.
We apologise for that, viewers.
Sparks is doing the Gyökeres celebration.
Jesus Christ. That's some copium, that is, for that terrible joke. Anyway, so yeah, evening, Russ.
Happy birthday, Russ.
We got the WTT.
Birthday,
Hello. So yeah, we kind of touched on the Osman deal and going to Al Hilal, and apparently Tony's going to the same place. Have we all seen this?
Yeah, I've seen that come through.
But they can't buy both.
Well,
Yeah,
they
I've read
can
that as well.
actually. Do you
Yeah,
know?
well,
Do you know the
they
criteria
sell.
if they buy both of them?
Yeah,
Something
they
about
sell.
foreign players I was reading earlier on that can
Yeah.
only register so many
So-
of them.
So yeah, Neymar is currently injured.
Yes,
We're
And
not
when
signing
he
him.
comes back from injury, they wouldn't be able to register Neymar if they bought both of them.
Oh, okay.
So either they sell a foreign player.
Sparks, you've done it now. That's going to be breaking on Twitter in about 10 minutes.
I mean, I'll take anything trending, to be honest.
Arsenal interested in Neymar. That's what it'll be now.
I mean, I wasn't saying that, to be fair. I was just saying it was a bit ridiculous that they were bringing in 2 number 9s
Yeah,
and a player like Neymar's left on the shelf.
yeah. How old is he now? He's about 33, isn't he?
I think he's
Something like
33, 34, isn't he?
Yeah.
But still, he's still not a player to be leaving out, is he?
No.
No.
And I just think with the Ivan
wouldn't have
Toney
thought.
stuff, it just
Especially,
Ivan Toney just like I say, why has no top 6 team gone for him? Tottenham chose Solanke, Man United chose Azerti. We didn't go for him. Even West Ham, he could have done a job there.
Hmm.
yeah, they
What
went
do we
full
think
cook.
of the Solanke deal? Do we think that's a good deal for them, or
Yeah.
Spurs, I think so. Yeah, to be fair, I think he has a lot of quality going forward, and I think he will be a dangerous opponent to play against. Really, when we come to play against him, I think he's one to watch out for.
you don't think he's a little bit overpriced though? I mean, his market value, I think,
agree.
is 45 million.
I suppose that is up
He's
for
definitely
discussion.
overpriced. No, he's definitely overpriced for me.
Yeah, same.
Like, if he's that,
65
what's Ollie
is a
Watkins?
lot.
If he's that price, what's Ollie Watkins?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't even relate it to that. I was more relating it to the Kai Havertz thing that we all said he was overpriced at the time, and some people were saying that he hasn't paid his transfer fee back yet.
I don't
However,
agree with that. I think he has. I think he is improving. He's shown he's got the wow factor. He's got potential, and he's banging goals, and I think he's showing his quality. Yes, there is still room for improvement with Havertz, but I think he is showing what he's worth. Slightly, and he's got a lot more potential to grow into.
yeah, I would actually agree with that. I would echo that. Does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody think he needs to do more to pay his price tag back?
No.
Not particularly. As George said, there's areas of his game which he can possibly improve on, but no, by and large, he's lived up to
So
all
overall, it's been a
expectations and
successful
more.
transfer, hasn't it?
Yeah.
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 So I mean, if you're comparing him to the 65 million that they paid for Solanke, it's a little bit crazy. to me.
Didn't they spend that on, or it might have been less to be fair, that on Richarlison?
60, I think, 62.
But like, it's similar numbers. You think, who would you rather have, Havertz or him? It's not a question, is it? Like, for the same sort of price, it's. Yeah, I think Solanke will score goals there, but I don't think he'll ever warrant the 60-odd million.
Yeah, I kind of echo that as well. What was the thoughts on Tony? Do you think people should be actually going in for Tony, or do you think he's just upset everybody, including Brentford?
I think since the I was just going to say, I think since the gambling controversy that come to light with Tony, I think it put a lot of people off him, and it just kind of shows that he's probably going to be a bit of a handful for clubs in some ways. with his controversy off the pitch, and sadly, but when he's on the pitch, he does perform well. But I don't, I think again, it's just the whole gambling controversy thing that's certainly put a lot of clubs off, and I don't think Arteta would want anyone like that in his dressing room that's going to, upset the mood and the camaraderie of the team. Really,
with that as well, I do agree with that. But I think with it, what people forget as well is the comments what he made around that time, and I don't think during the Euros when Southgate said what he said about him being annoyed. I don't think he's portrayed in the media as someone that you probably really want at your club with the attitude. I don't know I think me and you were talking about it, Mark, weren't we? Like when he was saying about Brentford, I appreciate they've helped me, but I want to play Champions League football or stuff like that. It's just the wrong attitude for me.
There's lots of red flags for Tony. Obviously, the gambling issue is the most prominent one, but he does come even at the Euros. I know Southgate isn't everyone's cup of tea on here, but the way he kind of whinged after being brought on with 5 minutes to go. Now, Southgate shouldn't have thrown him under the bus like that, don't get me wrong, but it does suggest someone he possibly has big time Charlie attitude that you probably want to stay away from if you can.
Yeah. And if the rumours are true as well, apparently Arteta met with him and it was a disaster. And that may or may not be true, but I kind of believe it because for all the reasons you guys just said, and we know Arteta just wouldn't have anybody like him. You could imagine the two of them meeting and Arteta just looking at him thinking, who is this guy? Not a chance is he coming near our club. But I am surprised that like another big Premier League club didn't go for him. But like obviously people are just put off by his history, I'd say.
That's why I think. That's why I think he's obviously rubbed people up the wrong way. Because like, if someone like Tottenham are not even looking at him, and they bought Richarlison, what does that say? Do you know what I mean? Like Richarlison's attitude. Like, I'm not a huge fan, but maybe Saudi gets his money because like he kind of I don't know. I don't see him coming back or coming back and going to a top team after if he goes to Saudi.
He's 28 now, so
it's the last payday, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
fair enough. Evening, Isa. How are we doing?
I'm all right. I've got you there, and I've got my iPad with Sky Go on it there. So,
okay. Anything interesting happening?
The only thing they've said about Arsenal is the four Premier League clubs interested in Reece Nelson, and we're closing in on the Bournemouth goalkeeper. So that's about pretty much all that's being said. But I'll keep you updated. I was listening to what you were saying, and I'll be honest with you. The thing for me, if Arteta had been serious about Ivan Toney, I would have been a bit annoyed because he did this big thing about getting rid of Aubameyang because of how he destabilised the dressing room. And then you've got quite a few young, impressionable players. All right, maybe they're not impressionable, but you've got a duty of care when you've got a certain amount of younger people around that you're not going to have somebody that could potentially destabilise the dressing room. They've all got very, very good ethics. Like we've got people like Xhaka, who is a great he's not only a great player, but he's a great person, and he's such a good role model to younger people. And I just think that having someone like him around, it's not, and I'm not saying for 1 minute Xhaka's impressionable. I'm pretty sure, I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely seen him give as good as he can get in the last couple of games. He's definitely getting a bit more of a, something to him. But I just think it's a bit hypocritical if you took a player like that when your whole ethos about harmony behind the scenes, and I don't think he's particularly harmonious. I also think it's get my words out, a weird thing of him going to the Saudi leagues when you think of their strict rules on gambling and drink and all those things, and he's been unfair. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems really. Is this the ultimate detox for him? Do you know what I mean?
Like a rehab for him.
Yeah.
Maybe with the payday, he doesn't need to gamble.
I'm not being funny, but I wish someone could give me 500 grand a week to go through rehab. I'd give me any addiction you want. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
And you know, it's funny. You made it. So you made a very good point there as well about, you know, the Saka being a great role model, and I'm laughing because you remember when Saka was with the England squad, there was videos coming out of him asking other players how to spell certain words, and I thought that was a great thing to do because it encouraged kids, you know, to look after their spelling and all that. And I'm just getting visions of Ivan Toney going around asking the other players or showing them how to do accumulators and so on.
But that's the thing. I mean, Zach is a great example as well. He's deeply religious, and he's got, you know, he's incredibly close to his family. He's such a good moral fiber. And I'm not saying Tony's not. Everyone's made mistakes, but I just think that if, you know, there's a certain element of I don't know. I don't think it's a very good. I don't think it'd be a very good fit.
I think that's a really good point though as well. Like, about them being a good role model in the club. And I don't know if you agree, Sparks. I think that's probably why they got a bit turned off about Victor Osimhen as well. Because I don't know, I don't think he probably had, well, he's on a lot of money as well, to be granted. But I don't know, it doesn't seem like the right attitude for a player at Arsenal. They remind me of people like Aubameyang.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about it as well is that the reasoning for going to a place like that is a bit of a weird kind of retort to it, because Napoli was kind of racially abused by Napoli. Osimhen was racially abused by Napoli and essentially the coach, and he's going to Al Hilal or whatever it is. They haven't really got a good record with that kind of thing, to be fair. And as Isa says, with Tony and his issues, he's going there with gambling habits, and he can't gamble.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, if you want a great example of players playing for money and not for passion, I think you have to only look at the Saudi league. Look, at the end of the day, right? I loved Emile Smith-Rowe. And I loved Eddie Nketiah. And there was a bit of me that was a bit annoyed that they went. I'll explain why in a minute. But at least I can put my hand on my heart and go, I know that they both went to play. Like, they didn't go to sit on
Not gone yet, by the way.
Oh, is he not gone yet?
Oh,
I thought he'd gone.
Keep that one.
Palace are announcing a few at the moment, though.
Yeah.
Chalobah's going to Palace on loan. And some other defender who I can't pronounce is signed for him as well.
That's a decent signing for Palace, to be fair.
Chalobah, yeah.
Good replacement.
That's what I was about to say, is that they're not going because they've fallen out with the club. They're not going because they want X amount of money. They're going because they know they're going to get played. And this is no disrespect to Palace, but you know, it shows how far we've come, because 10 years ago we would have bought players like them at their peak where they are now, and we would have been happy to have them play. So we tried to get top four. The fact that we're now giving players of that caliber that have come up through our academy that we are saying are not good enough for what we want or don't fit in, but they are going to be the best players where they're going. Emile's going to be the best player at Fulham. There's no doubt about it. And if Eddie does go to, it's Crystal Palace, isn't it? He's meant to be going to. It's going to be amazing there. Like, you know, and I hate it from a business point of view, because I hate thinking about football as a business, even though we know it is. But it is 100% pure profit for Arsenal, that they can go on and then buy these players that they desperately need to. And have you noticed, I can't even pronounce his name, so I apologise. I'm not trying to be rude, but Man United have just bought some 18-year-old I've never bloody heard of, right? They are where we were 10 years ago, thinking they can buy all these kids and turn them into superstars. Not every player is a Thierry Henry.
No, far from.
But I don't know. So I've come on here like really salty. I'm not really that sorry.
It's all right. Anyway, if you are watching the channel, please make sure you're hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and dropping comments and sharing the live as well. That would be much appreciated, and everybody on here will like that as well. Isa, there was a comment earlier on, and I just wanted to say that because you kind of just made a point there that kind of revoked what was said, where he was saying that the owners were settling for top four.
What now?
Yes, now.
I'm sorry, I have to completely disagree with that. The reason I want to, okay, so for me, and I'm probably going to someone's probably going to think I'm nuts for saying this, but the best thing you can do is show consistency and growth, right? Growth is not aiming for top four. We've now done that 2 seasons in a row. Growth is consistently either aiming for 2, aiming for second place, or winning this league, right? Growth is also winning the FA Cup for me. And I'll tell you what, for some reason, people always get the ump with me for saying this. Nobody thought that Man United was going to win against Man City in the FA Cup. We kind of sat back and went, oh, yeah, what? And now they're one win away from our record, right? I'm sorry, but I think for the morale of us, we want to keep that. We want to win something. Yeah. And if we consistently knock on this door at winning this Premier League, we are going to attract the players who their ego is going to go, I want to be that player to be the one that they brought in the year they won the league. So I can then say it was my influence that won them the league, right? And I don't think they're aiming for top four. I don't think Arteta's thinking about that. I think he's thinking about winning this because I think he's absolutely sick to his guts about losing out to Man City last season. But we've also got to put it in a bit of perspective. We've lost out now 2 years in a row to arguably one of the best teams in Europe that have got an untapped resource of money, right? What is embarrassing about that? What is there to be embarrassed about as an Arsenal fan of that? That's you're a team in transition and you're second to arguably the best team in one of the best teams in the world. And you haven't won anything major Premier League for 20 years. I don't think that as an Arsenal fan is anything to be ashamed of. But I do think we need to bring something home this year. And I would be happy if it's if it's second place and the FA Cup, but I want the league because we deserve it now. So, and someone now is going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about because I always get that when I go on a race. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I completely agree with you.
There's 115 reasons why we've not won anything recently.
Allegedly,
yeah.
Can you name them all, Georgie?
We don't have that long.
I think we'll buy a striker before I name them all.
I got shadow banned on TikTok yesterday because I did free Chelsea, like anti-Chelsea TikTok videos, and TikTok thought I was spamming Chelsea, so they shadow banned me for 24 hours.
No, what it is the we're rent free in Chelsea's heads. Yeah. And anytime that an Arsenal fan mentions Chelsea, they have a meltdown and they report everything in sight. And what happens when they report yours is they go to another Arsenal fans and they report that as well. And they go to another Arsenal fan page and report that as well. It's just embarrassing.
It's really. I mean, all it was have you seen that? Have you seen that video, the template they use of the lady? I think she's, I don't know what she's, but she's got a northern accent. She goes, "Oh no, not another one! I can't stand that." And all I did was it was a picture of the Chelsea dressing room behind, and all I put was the Chelsea kit man when another player turns up. That was all I did, and I was like, "There's something weird going on here because it's got no views, and everyone else has got like 800-900 views." And I'm like, what's going on with this video? And my husband went, I think you've been shadow banned because you did 3 about Chelsea in one go. I was like, probably.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, we're doing a transfer countdown show. We could have had a whole show dedicated to Chelsea incomings and outgoings, to be fair. But did you see the one actually that came in for 16 million euros last year? And this transfer window, he's going for 21 million.
Yeah, he played 11 minutes last season.
Yeah, do you know where he's gone?
Strasbourg, who are also owned by Todd Bowley's crowd.
Yeah.
How that's allowed, I do not know.
Can I just address a comment in the chat because I think it's a really good one. So if Arteta brings home no trophies and we finish second, does he? Oh, I think they mean third. Does he get the sack? The problem with sacking Arteta, and I've argued with my dad about this, because my dad was like, for some random reason, I don't know why, he really didn't want him to be manager of Arsenal, and he kept on saying how crap he was the first season or whatever. Who else have you got? Who else are you? Look, he is. I'm 41. He's the same age as me, right? I feel very underachieving next to Mikel Arteta. I'm not sure. But the bottom line is that he is. If we get rid of him, we're going to kick ourselves in the future, because if he can do what he's done now psychologically with this club, he's 41. He's only going to go on to be probably one of the best managers in the world. And why are we going to not give time to somebody to do that? I mean, I'm like you guys, some of you on here know, I'm a teacher. I've been back at school now 2 days, but the kids haven't been in, so we've had training. I am going somewhere with this, it's relevant. So today, one of the PE teachers was giving a presentation about motivation. I'm falling asleep. I'm like, seriously, like, why is none of this done on an email? Then what he did was he went, I want to show you a clip of something. And he said, and I think it shows really great motivation. And he actually showed a clip of Arteta in the dressing room for the Amazon All or Nothing series, right? And then everyone looked at me and they went, oh, she's awake now. Look, like she's paying attention. But actually, I think that's a good point, is that psychologically he's doing things with a club that hasn't been done before. And I think there was a real lull point when we weren't winning anything under the end of the years of Wenger, because we all loved Arsene Wenger and we didn't want to see this happen. I don't know about you, but I was petrified of him getting the sack, because I didn't want his career with Arsenal to end that way. We knew that he was, at least this is what I think, that he was taking a lot of shit for the board. He wasn't coming out and saying things that they were doing, because he was a gentleman, because he doesn't like to shit talk the people that he works for. And he was getting it in the neck, all the Wenger out brigade that were, various other people. And I think that when we were in a real down point, we weren't winning anything. We weren't even buying any real substantial players. Nothing really was happening. Our ambition was top four. This is a club that had been the Invincibles, and I think that then we got, and then when we got Arteta, after we had Emery for like a season, I think that people were like, why are you giving this young, inexperienced manager this job? And there was a lot of Arteta out. But I always stop and think there's more going on behind the scenes that we don't know. Just give it.
Arteta.
That's my mum. But that's my mum. That will be my mum calling me just to say something about this that's going on, because we've got a family group chat that talks about nothing to do with the family and everything to do with football. So yeah, but that's just my opinion. But I know there's people that have got better opinions than me and have got.
I think anybody who
Sky Sports News there, we are exploring a loan move for Sterling, so we'll see what, if anything, goes with that.
An Oran bomb has just dropped.
Right, I might have to take this. Give me a sec.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
It's Sky Sports HQ ringing because Mark's breaking the news earlier.
Breaking news. We don't have a prompt for that, unfortunately. Yeah.
Ornstein's just as you were saying there, Ian. Ornstein's just broken the exact same thing. That there's talks going on.
Talks going on, yeah. And just to finish off on what Icy was saying there, anybody who thinks that Arteta should be sacked if we finish second next season needs to have their head examined. It's just a non-event. The club where he's brought us from when he took over is worlds apart.
Hang on, breaking news. We're exploring a loan move for Sterling.
Yeah.
So
I just think people.
Go ahead. No.
Go on.
If Pep leaves City at the end of this season and they're not relegated and nothing's gone on, the first phone call they would make is to Mikel Arteta if he was available.
Of course they would. Of course they
would. So, I think everybody knows this, and this is why they're trying to put the spanners in. And it's just like, we'll just sack him and whatever. And Arsenal won't be successful because they're Chelsea fans and they don't want us to be successful. Right? And I think that's all it can be. But to Arsenal fans, for me, to Arsenal fans that basically want him gone, who do they think we're going to sign? We're not going out and getting Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
I said in the Twitter group earlier, because there was a lot of discontent, putting it mildly, about Arteta.
Yeah.
About
That's a very
Arteta.
polite word you're using there,
Yeah.
George.
I've not had enough JD yet. But I'm really, really bored of just missing out on winning the title and playing in the Champions League and playing teams like PSG at home. When I was watching us finish 8th, losing 4-2 to Nottingham Forest in an FA Cup game. So just like remember your short memories, guys. Like it wasn't that long ago when we were Banter FC. Let's be honest.
Right, can I just stop you there for a minute? You are so right, and I want to, not that I'm throwing my brother under the bus or casting any shade at him, but I will do.
But you're about to do exactly
I will
that.
do. Right.
That's fine. I do. My brother.
I went. Oh, I love my brother. We are very close. I mean, he's got a season ticket like me, so we go together. But he will be the first one to say he's 30. He will be the first one to say he's one of the most sport privileged Arsenal fans, and he's got no right to moan. Because when I grew up, and Highbury was obviously, you went to one boring Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal. You went and sat, and it was a cold like Wednesday night. There was buckets on the floor in the North Bank where the roof was leaking, but you didn't care because you were all together. You were all watching football, right? My brother went to not only Highbury in the glory years, he went as a junior gunner to every single game of the 49 unbeaten run. Every single.
Same here. That was my first proper season. Like
my dad saw the game with Bergkamp where he flipped the ball round against Newcastle. My dad saw that. Actually was there. And I know that wasn't at Highbury, by the way. That was at St James's Park. I know that. I always say to him, you didn't grow up when it really was shit. All right. You grew up with Thierry Henry, with Dennis Bergkamp. You grew up with watching these players. So your bar is here. Any Arsenal fan over the age of about 35, your bar is about here. Not because we don't expect better, but because we've seen it a lot worse than it is now. And considering we are competing with Man City, who have got stupid amounts of money, Chelsea, who started this all to, let's be honest, they've ruined the Premier League with the amount of money, that constant cash injection that set the bar. We know that. And the year we went 49 games unbeaten, statistically, they should have won the league. But because of the bar we set, they couldn't match us on points. That's it. Last season, doesn't matter how many 115 charges Man City have got. If we hadn't lost to Villa, we would have won the league. We can't blame anyone else than the decisions that were made. And the decision that was made on that game, which screwed us over, was he switched Martinelli and Trossard. He played them the opposite way round. And when he announced that team lineup, I looked at my mum and I said, we fuck this. I said, because, pardon my French, because I said it's better the other way round. And what happened? Exactly. He got knackered and then we just let the defence just run us ragged. But yeah, sorry, I've gone on a rant again. I haven't had enough Coca-Cola, I think. But it's now
too much.
They're now actually saying it is a breaking news thing. We are exploring a loan move. It's official now.
So this was only basically said we were done, and now we're not.
Hopefully it breaks before Liam goes live and we can get the scoop on him, but I don't think we're going to.
What's that, sorry?
Hopefully it gets confirmed before Liam goes live, but I don't think it will. I think he'll get the scoop on that one.
I like this. I feel like I need a headset. I feel like I could be like the first. I've got a microphone here that isn't connected. I could use that. But yeah, so just what I was saying, I personally think that a certain demographic of Arsenal fans have got a very, very high bar, which is understandable for what the history we have. But we have to remember this team is a team in transition. This is not the Invincibles, but equally, this is not like the 2006, 2007 side that, to be honest with you, I could name about 3 players when I looked at the list the other day, because some of them were so unimaginative and I'd just forgotten them in the dawn of time that don't know whether that makes me a shit Arsenal supporter. I haven't decided yet, but I was a bit like, we don't want that. Our team at the moment is just
I do find it funny today. I put a tweet out, and as some people that already know me know, I like to wind people up. So I said it's really funny how the 6-week summer holiday coincides with the end of the transfer window. Like with people's and a journalist from the Athletic actually liked it. So I just think it is just like the some of the takes like with Sam Sparks that you see online. I think people they play their computer games too much and they think, oh yeah, I'll pick that one up, that one up, that one. It don't work like that.
Yeah, Football Manager is an evil source, isn't it? When you're a football fan.
If only it worked like that. Like,
ring them up in 5 minutes. The transfer's done. And he signed a contract.
I'll give him another 5% bonus, and he's definitely signing. You know.
To be fair, it did feel a bit like that with Ramsdale's deal today. It was done so quick, wasn't it? It wasn't.
I think they'd done a lot of initial talks, and I think that I think Bournemouth had put up the option of Neto in case. We didn't have a backup keeper.
I think that's what the beauty of X was. The only good thing about X, to be honest. Like, so the transfer stuff that breaks on there, Sky Sports normally report that like a week later. So
It's always been like that. I remember when we bought Arteta, me and my cousin was like watching that because constantly backwards, forwards. We had Bentner back. Yeah, do you know? It's like hilarious. Bentner, forget these players. Like, you know, I've had my season ticket for 15 years. I'll watch these people play. How did I forget them?
Russ says we're better than Sky Sports, so there you go. Here you go.
Yeah, damn right, Russ. Damn right. Don't change the channel.
I'm going back to this because I want to know the views. Obviously, we've heard for a couple of days that potentially Sterling could come as a transfer, but most likely would be a loan move with Chelsea subsidising a lot of his wages because he is on. I think he's on like 325k a week.
That's what I read as well, Sparks. Yeah.
Say again.
I said that's not bad, is it?
It's all right.
Nice work if you can get it.
I'll tell you, for me, it's not hate for Sterling. If he's going to come in and do and do what he did, like what he's potentially capable of doing, what we've seen him do in the past, fantastic. My concern is when a player bounces between clubs like that, they show zero loyalty. And we've got an amazing passion in that club of players that love that club. Like, everybody thought that Kai Havertz deal was a ridiculous deal. No, I'm not saying everyone on the panel. I'm saying we got ribbed by Chelsea for that deal. Look at him now. And it's not because he was a crap player at Chelsea. He's flourished under Arsenal because it's developed the way he plays. He plays. You can see he's happier when he plays. They brought out the full potential of him as a player. I don't think and the passion he's got for the club as a return is there. I don't think Sterling's going to be the same. I think and he's not going to be just a day in the office for him where he's going to be banging in the goals, because look at the stupid stunt he pulled a couple of weeks ago when he put out a statement because he wasn't playing. Whoever player does that? It's like Cucurella making up his own boxy
Can I just say that was he's not leaving Chelsea because he wants to leave Chelsea. He's leaving Chelsea because he's been ousted. And
something else. So like that was probably more Raheem Sterling's team than Raheem Sterling. Like, I can't believe things have changed. I'm actually sticking up for Raheem Sterling. People that watch the podcast know I don't do this.
We've seen it, George. We've seen it.
Yeah, but what my thing is, he's 29. Say we get him on loan. I think people need to try and remember the stuff what he was like under Arteta at Man City. And he has got a point to prove. Like, he's only 29. There's no reason he couldn't knock on that England door. So maybe he sees going to Arsenal as that opportunity. I don't know. If he, let's be honest, if he scores a last-minute winner against Man City and celebrates in front of him and does an Adebayor, I won't be complaining.
I'm the first person. I will get on anyone's show. And I will sit there and go, I was wrong, and I'll take all the ribbing that I get for stating that. But it's just that I don't know. I don't know how he'd fit in. I know how he'd fit in. Obviously, that's not what I mean. But it's just that.
I do think it's a panic loan, if I'm honest. I don't see.
Do you not think he's opportunistic rather than panic?
Yeah, maybe more option, but he wouldn't have been in my top 4.
I agree with you, Sparks.
It's like the point we were saying earlier. There's not really a lot of players out there that are always going to be available, all these top quality players. So, I think it's a bit of a 50-50 thing with Sterling. Yes, like Icy was saying with the whole his attitude in some ways and sometimes the slight controversy that he has, but I think he could bring a lot to our club, and I think he, performance on the pitch. I think
he's got that winning mentality. He's got that winning mentality as well, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he scored. I'm just looking at some of his stats here. Premier League career, he scored 123 goals, 62 assists. Last season, he scored 8 goals and I think 4 assists. And look, not earth-shattering last season.
From last season,
the Premier for last season or overall?
For last season.
For last season, it was 31, I think. Let's go back. 31.
They weren't all starts, though, were they?
Just saying.
No, that's Premier League only. Sorry, George, go on.
I was saying, if we want to be critical, that's better than what Martinelli done last season.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was leading up to.
And he was in a crap
no hate. No hate for Martinelli, and that's again as exactly Mark with a poor Chelsea side and probably not playing a huge amount of minutes within those 31 matches. I think, and then there's also the Arteta effect. I think Arteta will do a great job with him. He knows Arteta very well. Arteta worked a lot with him at Man City, so it's not probably who we all would have picked, but I don't hate it. I'm all right with it.
Actually, do you know what? Can I just have something? I totally forgot about the whole thing about him working with Arteta under Man City, and that now makes a lot more sense. Because I did wonder where this was. That's why I thought it was a bit opportunistic as well. I was like, he's just looking for another London club. And if this was Chelsea 5 years ago, 6 years ago, he wouldn't have even thought of Arsenal. But it's because Arsenal's on a club on the rise and blah. But now that makes a lot of sense as well. What you said. Listen, I'm totally in agreement. If he's going to be playing in a winning goal, he's going to win us something. Of course, I'm not going to dislike him.
Is he younger than the same age as Trossard? Was he younger?
Trossard's about the same age. Trossard's about 28.
So
and you have to remember as well that Chelsea are an absolute basket case of a club.
Yeah,
he's coming into a much more settled environment, a much better place, and I just think he could thrive under Arteta and in with Arsenal. I'm talking myself into loving this now.
Do we not think as well? Sorry, do we not think as well that it's got potential to be a kind of Kai Havertz thing, although not essentially the whole deal because it's not a full-time transfer anyway, and also it's got the potential to help Martinelli along.
Yeah.
To not necessarily give somebody to look up to, but give some rotation to basically aid his progress a little bit.
I think it'll help teach them players like Saka. I'm not saying that they need, but Raheem Sterling is very experienced on the international base of it, the Champions League, and all what he's done at Man City, Liverpool, wherever else. So. Martinelli, he's going to have someone working alongside him, like you say, to rotate in and out. But even Saka, you have people like Saka, Rice, you've got that English quartet as well. So I wasn't really a fan of this, but shows how things change. Yeah, we're going to win the
a little bit of stats here. So sorry, I just want to say. So you were saying about the closeness in age between Sterling and Trossard. Trossard is 4 days older than Sterling.
There you go.
Share a birthday cake.
That's enough. That's enough to sign. The birthdays.
And as well, same few days. And as well, I just looked up the 31 games last season. He played 1,992 minutes in the Premier League, and that's an average of 64 minutes a game. And that's 8 goals, 4 assists in that. So
that's not actually that bad, really.
Yeah. So if that's an average, that's interesting. If that's an average of 64 minutes a game, When does Trossard come on? About the 65th minute.
Just one thing I was going to say, like about Sterling, the Sky News journalist has just reported saying that Raheem Sterling is not just motivated by money. That's why he's not going to move to Saudi Arabia. That is a point, actually. You know, if he was motivated by money, he would be doing that move to Saudi Arabia.
That's why I never saw Man United links, because there was a lot of talk. Sterling and his family's in London.
Swap.
He was only going to London. So the only way that happens was because of Sancho or the swap deal. But yeah, why not? We'll win the quadruple with Raheem Sterling.
I like to think so, George.
Why not? Why not?
Winner's mentality as well, right? So
yeah,
you know,
with a Mark Dunning transfer exclusive, mate. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get it on Twitter. We don't need.
I'm prepared for it, mate. I don't care. To be honest,
can you imagine the headlines? We got our Arsenal supporting Prime Minister, and then Man City go and bloody do get done for all these charges. It'll be Arsenal only won it because someone else got done, and then the Prime Minister.
I don't really care why or how.
Yeah. I don't really want to see.
No pictures on the league table. Just the number of points you got.
Yeah, I don't want to see Arsenal won the league because of Keir Starmer. Though.
No, we'll win it on merit. We'll win it on merit. We'll win the league.
History won't remember that we won it because of Keir Starmer.
I watched an interview with him walking around the Emirates talking about his passion for football. And I actually said to my dad, if I had that much passion for bloody Arsenal, I don't deserve to go. Because he was like, yeah, I really love this club and it's got so much passion. And I'm like, just shut up, talk about this club properly. I'm like, my God, I was so bored. I couldn't even tell you.
You did that with AFTV, didn't you?
Yeah. I was like, hang on. No one could make that interest. It was really weird, to be honest, that interview. I was like, this is really strange, just seeing him talk. And it wasn't with any passion at all. You know, it was like he was delivering a budget. It was really weird. But anyway.
It could have been a budgie, you don't know. Anyway, we kind of went on a bit more
to complete the move for Billy Gilmore as well. He's doing his medical at the moment. So
say that again, sorry?
Napoli are going to get the Billy Gilmore deal done, it looks like.
Okay.
He's doing his
medical. Is there any more reports on Osimhen while we're
Nothing.
Here?
Nothing at the moment.
Tony was in London apparently doing a medical for
to go to Saudi,
Mark, have you
Mark,
got
I think you pronounced Napoli wrong there.
I'm just wondering, Mark, if you got like a transfer thing. So like Romano says, here we go, or the other one.
Not yet, George. Not yet. I'm a rookie at this.
It's going to be a bit outdated by the end of the day.
You need to trademark the Dunning transfer, but
right, we're going to have to call it there because there's another show coming after us, and if we're on too long, then they'll be delayed as well. So we'll all be in a bit of a state. So
I will because I'm on there.
Say again.
God,
I said
you're on there as well, George.
I'm around if they want me, but you know.
I might be on there for a bit.
I don't know who's on it, to be honest.
No, I've got an early start, so
give Liam a message. Is the answer to that one? So drop him a message.
I think I am. I'm sure I am. I got very confused today. That's nothing unusual, to be fair. But
I got confused because I've only got a line of five people, and it stops, and then I have to rotate down for the sixth person. So I didn't see you waiting. So apologies for that.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
So but there we go. So it just remains to thank everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share the live. We're much appreciated. You get Liam on Sports Bar Cafe after us. It will be on his channel though, not mine, but it will be live on mine. But you'll see him on his own. Thank you very much, Ian, and nice to see you again.
Thank you very much. No problem. I'm off to work on my my Sterling chant, my new Sterling chant. Come on.
Yeah, happy days. Are you going tomorrow?
Yeah, myself and Mark are up very early. Not at the same time, not in the same place, but Mark traveling over. A very early start. I think my alarm's going to go off at about 4:45 a.m. But it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I thought that's why you had the flag, so to separate the two of you.
If I do this, Mark, and touching Mark's face.
Yeah, I see the hand as
Other
well.
way,
Yeah,
you're pointing the wrong way.
Sorry, that way. That way.
I'm trying to work. Is it someone on here that I was talking to that doesn't sit far from me?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Mark in the top right.
Yeah.
Ah.
Mark Romano.
You guys are season ticket holders as well, yeah? Whereabouts are you guys based?
I am
I'm
North
102.
Bank Upper, block
I'm
103.
North Bank Upper. I'm block 106.
I'm 103.
Oh, wow.
102.
Yeah, I'm 12.
Whereabouts are you then, Mark?
Yeah.
Whereabouts
102.
We can all meet up. We can all meet up. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark, and thanks for coming on.
Just I'll break one more before we go. Frank Onyeka has left Bournemouth to go to Augsburg, and Celtic have signed some player I've never heard of.
That is
Probably can't pronounce.
that's a
I feel
trend.
like that's the saying of this transfer window. They've all signed players we've never bloody heard of, because that's happened a lot.
It is happening a lot. It really is.
That's impressive, Mark. That one.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you tomorrow then, Mark.
See you tomorrow.
And George, thank you very much. Both Georges.
Thank you for having me. And I'd just like to say, we don't need to think of the transfers that we've made or who we've signed. I think we've got a great squad, and I think we'll go out there and we will do great things this season. So let's just remain confident on that.
Absolutely bang
Well
on.
said.
Completely agree with that.
Well said.
Isa, thank you very much.
No problem.
We'll see you on the next ones. But yeah, while you're in here, make sure you're liking, subscribing, commenting, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks for joining.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Cheers, guys.
Guys.